Hello! Hi! And welcome back to Flowers! It's winter! Can you believe it? You know what else I can't believe? Cannot believe I jacked my left knee up real bad today somehow. The back of it hurts so much. I think I pulled a muscle. It's seriously going to affect my ability to read a visual novel to you. Hey, how's it going though? Welcome back. Hope you're doing better. Hope you're doing better than I am. I hope you don't have a seemingly pulled muscle in your left knee. And if you do, we can be hurty knee buddies. It'll be great. It'll be great. We'll hang out and complain about pain in the back of the knee. What am I doing? Anyway, we kicked things off last time. We kind of jumped right into the mystery of it. Suoh is going full on detective mode and seems to be wanting to take on the brunt of everything herself. She wants to keep everybody as uninvolved as she can, it looks like. And we also got into some fun wintertime shenanigans, so that's fun and that's good. So let's just go ahead and jump right back into things. I'm on my way back to the dorms, enjoying a satisfying crunch of my footsteps and the soft winter twilight I hear. It was! We built an igloo. A familiar voice from behind me. Hey, how's it going? I mean, given that it's Suoh, I think I bet just about anybody could take her by surprise. I mean, you've seen this girl. She may have grown a lot in the last 3 seasons, but she is also still very, very quick to start, I think. My first snowball fight with friends. Oh, kind of got the wrong impression just because, just because she's shy. But then again, I guess everybody could, also have had those similar thoughts about Chidori when she started at the school. She wasn't exactly, Miss Fun Time Japan 2015. Her voice is so quiet I barely hear it, but I do. I let slip an uncertain noise and Takasaki-san's brow furrows. I'm a child at heart then, because I'm still a big fan. Like when I get that first snow of the year, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go stand outside now because I wanna enjoy this. I don't know why. The first snow of the year is always real nice. It's something I enjoy still. I nod, seeing what she means. Unlike a child, I suppose an adult woman would simply look at the snow and admire its beauty. Me? Mature? She blinks her beautiful almond eyes, her lips corking up slightly. Aww. Her smile is like a ray of sunshine, and I'm reminded with a painful intensity that my Amitie who disappeared in the spring. Her shadow lingers deep within my heart, and now it reaches out to squeeze at it, making it hard to breathe. I remember the first time I saw Takasaki-san, and my chest constricts just like it did on that summer's day. I shove down that feeling, as I do when I push back the nausea that sometimes threatens to overwhelm me. My self-defense mechanism works, clearing my heightened emotions like the north wind blowing away a bank of clouds. The old got something in my eye. Everybody believes it. The only sound in my ears is the crunch of snow under my feet, But that sound is now jarring. At the end of the group, Ichigo-san says something, and Rika-san, pushing along Erika-san's wheelchair, chides her. I look up at Takasaki-san, who's been walking beside me in silence. The glare of the setting sun obscures her face. Everybody's good at being red in this game. But then again, it's just when you grow close to somebody, as all of these characters have over the course of 3 seasons so far, it kind of makes a lot of sense that you're just able to read your friends like this. So it's so much harder to hide this stuff now. She goes on, her gaze fixed on the backs of the girls just ahead of us. Yep. She's trying to tell you, I think I think she's very specifically talking about Erika here, but I know that she also knows that everybody else is kind of like, look, you know, we got your back here. She gives a slight nod, her eyes on Ichigo-san. Despite my harsh treatment of her, Rika-san was concerned about me. I think you kind of just need to know that people got your best interests at heart, and maybe you need to be a little more open to receiving those feelings. Just like how Ichigo-san asked me to give Yatsushiro-san some encouragement when she had sunk into a depression. Of course, it's only natural. The word friend now comes to me naturally, and what a wonderful feeling it is. The smile on her face still reminds me of my amitié partner who disappeared with the spring. But this time that ray of sun brings warmth to my chest. Oh. Oh. The days pass by slowly, like a river winding by so lazily you'd have to strain your eyes to spot any movement. Warmed by my amitié partner's kindness, I returned to holding myself up in Iznik again, as I had before my brief diversion in the snow. In order to chase Mayuri's shadow, I have to solve the riddles that Yatsushiro-senpai told me about. The riddles of Shion Basquiat and the Tulpa of Agape. However, it sounds like this is going to go very well. Very wise. At lunchtime, a pair of familiar voices fill the room with chatter. Okay, that's serious. She's about to go yandere mode. Stay back. Rika-san scolds them, a steaming cup of tea in her hand. Yeah, she could do some damage with that. Ichigo-san sticks her tongue out cheekily in response. Oh shit! You're done! It's over! She's actually going to activate yandere mode. We're never going to see this poor little strawberry child again. It's over. Done and dusted. She mutters something under her breath about righting wrongs. Dang!
5章ですよ、りっちゃんさん。
Ringo-san protests as Rika-san hands the reclaimed sandwich back to Ichigo-san. What a lively lunchtime. Sure would like to read all my damn books. I'm still spending my days shut up on my own, but now...
さあ、スオさん。こっちはスオさんが好きなブリトーを作ってもらい
Yo,
ました
let's
からね。
go!
ありがとう、リカさん。
I think they're doing this thing again where, you know, have some burritos. They're so good. Now it's the one thing you like, so that's the one thing we're going to associate with you from now on. Twice a day at lunchtime and at 3 p.m. tea time, Iznik comes to life like this.
どう？好きそうな食材を選んで作ってもらったのだけど。
Under her hopeful gaze, I bite into the hot burrito. My mouth is filled with strips of grilled chicken. All right, corn salsa. All right, crisp lettuce. All right. Rather than the Japanese takes on burritos I usually eat, this is a... Oh, no. Well, I can't do the beans. Well, rip. The corn salsa gives it a distinctive, authentic taste.
美味しいわ。ありがとう、リカさん。よかった。いつものばかりだと飽きるかと思って、今日は凝ったものにしてもらったの。いいな。私的にもそっちの方が良かったかも。私としてもそっちを奪えば良かったですかね。あら。 もしかしてお行儀が悪いことを反省していないのかしら。
Look, she has been very benevolent in granting the two of you a second chance at living a rich and fulfilling life. I think you need to value it, lest your sleep tonight become eternal. Yeah, that little shake. Cute. The twins shrink back exaggeratedly when Rika-san's gleaming glasses and bristling braids.
冗談だよ。ですです。スオちゃん、何か私たちへフォローの言葉をかけてほし
Put
い
in
で
a
す
good
よ。
word for us. See that we do not end up with hatchets in our backs tonight. I consider it for a moment, but I like Higurashi a lot.
明日の風が吹くとか。
That felt rather half-hearted.
後ろ向きな言葉。風とともに去りぬのスカーレット・オハラのセリフが台無しになってるじゃん。
Tomorrow, or dreams to come true. There's a murmur of admiration as people praise Ichigo-san's knowledge, and she puffs her chest out proudly.
明日は明日の風が吹くはヘミングウェイが言った格言でもあるのですよ。私が言った格言にかぶせてくるとは処置仲間として見事としか言えませんな。
Ringo-san nods admiringly at me. Rika-san no longer seems annoyed as she comes back with a fresh tea for the twins.
今日はいつもよりも賑やかだわ。ごめんなさいね。私だけ来るつもりだったのだけど、いちごさんたちが一緒にって。それはそうですよ。こんな密室でりっちゃんとスオちゃんを二人きりにさせられないよ。私たちは映画「ボディーガード」の主人公フランク・ファウナーですよ。守られる歌姫はスオちゃんです。
She got the roles right.
なんで私がタチの悪いストーカーみたいな扱いを受けているのよ。
She protests, braids bristling, but her expression has softened. She's just playing. Our lunchtime is filled with a lighthearted chatter. For some reason, I find my mind drifting back to when I arrived at the academy in the spring. Yeah, you were definitely a little lesbian disaster when you got here. Not that you're any less of a lesbian disaster, but you're a more social and more personable lesbian disaster. My dreams have come true. These moments are little bites of happiness.
あら、もう食べたのね。それじゃ次はこのブリトーはどうかしら。
It may be winter outside, but in here the moon's as sunny as a spring day. Unhesitatingly, I lean forward and take a bite from the burrito in Rika-san's Rika-san's hand. Ah! This is not something you could have got her to do. You could not have gotten her to do this 3 seasons ago. Girl's just kind of... Look how comfortable she's become.
スオちゃんもやりますね。焼けてしまいますな。あ、りっちゃん、こっち向いてよ。記念に撮ってあげるからさ。
Wait, she's using the camera now? So is she kind of like taking up like she's taking up Yuzuriha's kind of camera? Oh, that's actually really cute.
もうやめなさい。
Her cheeks are flushed. I realize that the intimate atmosphere is clouded by judgment. I let Rika-san feed me, or rather, I gave her no choice in the matter. Oh crap, what did I do? Rika-san stops protesting the twins' comments and turns back to me. I take a sandwich from the basket.
その食べさせて。
All right,
食べてしまったから。
there you go. Might as well just return the favor. Sure. I can feel myself flushing right to the tips of my ears.
いいの？
Now that she is seeking affirmation, I feel the embarrassment flood over me as I watch in silence Rika-san brings her pale, glossy lips towards me. Now that she's doing the same thing, my shyness is eclipsed by deep sentiment. I haven't been at this school that long, yet here I am engaged in another of those scenes I was so enamored with.
ありがとう。美味しかったわ。
Okay, now don't mention it anymore before my head pops like a balloon. Her face beat red because San thanks me with a smile that's so dazzling I have to look away.
いいなあ。私的にも食べさせてほしいよ。二階屋の会の会長から食べさせてもらうなんてレアですからね。
The two of them hold out their own basket of sandwiches, and I find myself paralyzed by a conflicting mix of embarrassment and the desire to do anything for my friends.
バカなことを言っていないで早く食べなさい。
Eat your damn lunches, we're done horse playing around. We got work to do.
昼食を取りに行く時間は決まっているけど、何時までに食べるとか決まっていないから別にいいじゃん。ゆっくり食べ過ぎると太るのよ。まあ、いちごさんは以前よりも痩せたように見えるからいいのかもしれない。
Are you being a mean girl right now?
カチーン。
Ow! That was very good. I'm very happy with that.
カチーン。カチーン。
With a grave look on her face, Ichigo-san wags her finger and sternly tells Rika-san she can't say that.
前に雑誌で読んだけれど、女の子同士の痩せたい
Yeah, I was about to say
戦いの始まりなんだよ。
that passive-aggressive mean girl shit.
どうしてよ、褒めているじゃない。違うんだよ。痩せたねはこの前までは太ってたという意味なんだって。裏の意味合いなんだよ。
She crosses her arms in front of her chest, and Rika-san and I nod admiringly. I suppose it's like one of those phrases that, even when said with the best of intentions, can be interpreted as an insult in other regions and cultures.
女の子同士は難しいのですよ。
Yes, navigating the world of female relationships is vast and infinite. I can't help but smile at Ningo-san's earnest murmur.
でも私が言ったのは言葉通りの意味よ。 わかってるって。ただリンゴばかりトリビアを披露しては姉の保険に関わるからね。これで2度目。
Let her have one!
勝ちじゃないかな。
She must be talking about the Hemingway quote, although I'm not sure it really counts as trivia. Let her have it. The girl, let the girl have a win. It's fine. It's not hurting anything.
前の学校の時の友達とよく回し読みをしていたからね。スオちゃんはその手の話題で知っていることある？
Why does... I don't know if I mentioned it, but like, Ichigo calls her Suoh-chan? I'm pretty sure she said Suoh-chan there. I'm about to admit that I have no clue since I barely spoke to anyone before coming here, but instead I say, hold on, we're going back here.
前の学校の時の友達とよく回し読みをしていたからね。スオちゃんはその手の
Yeah,
話題
she's
で
calling
知
her
っていることはある？
Suoh-chan, yet the text box continues with San. I think Chan would probably be the better play here since they are more familiar now. I don't know. Who am I to say? I'm not one of those weirdos that's against localizers, by the way, so don't worry about it.
そういえば祖父が言っていたわ。女性と言わず男性も好きな相手には質問する。どうでもよい相手には自分の話し
You know, I definitely kind of had a run-in with some relationships recently where this is like the most this is the most meaningful text box in the game, where it's like, oh, all right, hey, this person only talks about themselves and they never ask about you. Maybe that's a little one-sided and crummy.
なんとなくわかるかも。確かに興味がある人にはたくさん質問しちゃうもんね。自分の話しかしない云々は女性に多そうですけどね。
We carry on chatting until, as though our prior conversation had been gearing up to it, we're about to go into the topic of relationships.
やだ、もうこんな時間
Oh no, just look at the time. Rika-san lets out a surprised cry upon seeing that the hand on the wall clock is already approaching the end of our eating period.
いやー、話盛り上がっちゃったもんね。冷める料理じゃなくてよかったですよ。ここにエリカちゃんがいたら。沈黙はスパイスだぞ。黙ってくれ。
That's a real good Attica. She's real good at this. Everyone laughs at her impression. This happy, dreamlike mealtime reminds me of a clear spring day.
それじゃあ昼食も済んだし、これから。
Ichigo-san abruptly stops speaking like she's just spotted something odd in the corner of the room and flashes Ringo a look.
実はりっちゃんとスオちゃんにお願いがあるんだよね。私たちに。実は今料理部の先輩からうさぎさんの世話を頼まれているんだよ。でもこれからちょっと約束があってさ。呆れた。それで私たちに頼もうっていうのね。おしゃべりしすぎて時間がなくなっちゃったんだよ。スオちゃんはいいよね。うさぎさんたち可愛いもの。
Go hang out with some bunnies.
やった。りっちゃんもいいよね。
Rika-san looks sullen, but Ichigo-san goes over to talk into her ear.
話しているのかしら。女の子同士の秘密
What are y'all
の
doing?
話ですよ。
Stop being weird. Internally, I respond that I'd love to join in too, but then...
いや、でも
Oh, they totally just think that, like, they're setting these two up. Rika-san raises her voice, her cheeks flushed.
たまにはりっちゃんもいいことがないとね。でもりっちゃん映画のスタートレッカー見たことあるよね。少し前に視聴覚室で見たけれど。
Ichigo-san responds to her confusion by raising a hand in the famous Vulcan gesture. Oh my god, they did it! They gave her a Vulcan sprite! I'm just... That's amazing. I don't know why I didn't expect that. Fantastic. When artists go the extra mile for a very simple visual gag, I will always appreciate it. That's why I'm a big fan of the Somnium Files, because they go so hard on just so much extra dialogue and just one-off visual gags that go play the Somnium Files. The game's great. She flashes an impish smile, her tone mischievous.
さすがに日が暮れるのが
Ah, nice. Got a cute little scarf, cute little jacket. My amitié partner murmurs, looking up at the scarlet light shafting through the clouds.
そうね。
I say, equally as quiet as I follow her gaze. The sky is like a painting, startlingly, radiantly beautiful in the brief moment when the sun lingers on the horizon. Rika-san lowers her eyes from the sky to my face and smiles.
スオーさんも手伝ってくれてよかった。一人だったらどっぷりと日が暮れていたもの。最初に受けたのは私だわ。手伝ってくれてよかったというのは私の方よ。
We laugh, each thanking the other. The rabbits watch us curiously.
かわいいわ。リカさんのお家では何か動物を飼っていたの？お兄様が喘息気味で動物の毛は大敵だったの。
Aww.
だからこうして触れ合えるのが嬉しいの。
When we talked in the spring, I didn't ask about her home life. But in this intimate atmosphere, the words just slipped out. Like, you're asking questions because you care. It's what we're being taught right now. I pick up on context clues very well. Even though I know Rika-san has her own issues at home.
ごめんなさい。急に謝って変なスオさん。あ、もしかしてウサギさんを独り占めにしたことを言っているのね。相変わらずスオさんは動物にモテるわよね。私はなぜか好かれないけど。
I'm relieved that she hasn't taken it as me prying into her private life. Although it makes my face burn with the effort, I decide to take a leaf out of Ringo-san's book and make doubly sure that there's no hard feelings.
あのね、エリカさんならこういうわ。女ってのはなびかないやつにちょっかいをかけたがるんだよ。
She did her best. It sounded really good. She tried to put a little rasp in there. She tried to gravel it up a little bit. I think it went over like a lead balloon though.
スオさんが真似っこをするなんておかしい。
Well, I'm relieved to have smoothed over the situation. My entire body is burning up with embarrassment. Ugh, I can't believe I did an impression of Erika-san.
エリカさんには黙っていて。
No, I think the first thing you need to do is rush and tell her.
どうしようかし
Yeah!
ら。
All right, Rika knows. My face pales, but she grins at me, telling me she's joking. How many times has that smile of hers saved me? As I gaze at her. Oh no. Oh no, let's not do another cold arc. Can we not do another person gets a cold arc? No! I wanted to avoid this. I knew winter was coming and I didn't want to jinx it because we already had 2 in autumn. But now now it's winter, so somebody's definitely getting sick. The abrupt cooling of my flushed body makes me sneeze and my face heats up all over again.
お世話をして汗をかいてしまったものね。風邪をひかないように早く寄宿舎へ戻りましょう。
She offers me a pair of gloves. When she asks me what's wrong, I admit that I didn't bring any gloves with me. Oops. Ooh, that is a nice looking little sky. Very good painting. Bob Ross would love this sky. Lots of happy little clouds. These clouds can be anything you want. You could name this one Jesse. They don't care. They're just happy little fellas. Whenever I'm thinking about something, I picture my mind as a cabinet filled with countless drawers. On each drawer is a label reading either resolved or unresolved. Of course, everything relating to Mayuri, Shion Basquiat, and the Tulpa of Agape, and so on, is in one of the drawers labeled unresolved. And each new issue gets an unresolved label of its own before I stow it away in the depths of the drawer with the rest. But right now... Aww.
邪魔をしてしまって。
Aww, look at this. Ain't that just the cutest thing? The words are woven into the air again. She's talking about interrupting my work and Iznik. I shake my head in response. Oh, the music, man.
スオさん、根を詰めすぎないように様子を見に来てくれているのでしょう。私を気遣ってくれている。
The only sound is the soft crunch of snow beneath our boots. The silence is far from awkward, though. It's a comfortable, intimate moment of quiet shared between MTA partners.
いちごさんから言われたの。うさぎさんのお世話を代わるから、スオさんともっと仲良くなってきなさいって。
Ichigo's such a good girl. Live long and prosper. A jokey reference, but also her own way of delivering words of encouragement.
最近、スオさんと二人きりであまりおしゃべりができていない気がして。
Feeling a little left out.
いちごさんの提案に乗ってしまったの。
Abruptly, she tightens her grip on my hand. Mika-san's cute little fingers are warm in mine.
スオさんの邪魔をしてしまうって分かっていたのに。
Oh, I feel as though I'm hearing the voice of my kind and earnest Amitie from across a great distance. Gazing at her profile, I feel my heart clench deep within my chest. Upon hearing that I'd forgotten my own gloves, my Amitie partner offered me hers. When I refused, she handed me just one and took my bare hand in hers. She told me that this way, neither of us would get cold.
邪魔なんかじゃない。スオさん、リッカさんをそんな風に思ったことなんてないわ。
Oh.
アミティエに使う時間が無駄なんてこと絶対にない。
I respond to her questioning gaze with a smile.
昔、祖父が言ってたわ。無駄っていうのは手に取って見えるくらいに確かなものだって。使うあてがなく買ってしまった辞書みたいなものだって。
I squeeze her hand back, hoping to convey my feelings through touch.
なんだかエリカさんみたい。そうね。
Suddenly realizing just how much my bookworm buddy and my grandfather resemble one another, I let out a soft laugh, which withdraws one from Rika-san too. Although it's hardly a laudable act on my part, for the time being, I'm letting them aside and taking a break. I'm setting them aside and taking a break.
とっておきの茶葉をごちそうするわ。
I tell myself that it's okay to set them to one side, just for a little while. Then I carefully stow this happy memory of being hand in hand with my amitié partner away in a drawer of its own, so that it's to always retain its warmth. Oh, it's so nice. Erika declares, picking up a post-lunch slice of salami. She adds after taking a sip of tea. Since I've been taking most of my lunchtime meals in Iznik, I've been eating simple things that I can take with me and that won't go cold. Which is why when Rika-san invited me to eat in the cafeteria, I was enticed by the idea of a steaming hot cooked lunch. Following that, dang. Dang.
おい、聞いたか千鳥。2階への会の副会長様が権力
She's
を
not
傘にして
wrong!
横暴
This is a
する
clear
回し出したぞ。
infraction! Both Takasaki-san and I smiled at her joke. We ended up here. After lunch, I was ushered back to our room by my amitié with a promise that she'd treat me to some special tea. Then Erika-san and Takasaki-san turned up with suspiciously good timing.
私はどちらかというと紅茶派だわ。高崎さんはいい人だわ。
I won't be murdering you tonight, at least. Man, somebody's got to play these games at some point. They got to play these games at some point and do a count on how many times that tea pour sound effect gets used. I remember I was doing that when I first started playing these games. I did that with Smiling Riley or Riley Smiled because I noticed that the first two games used that phrase a lot, and then by like a tone like it was over, like they had almost stopped using it entirely, and I don't think we've had a single wry smile in this one yet so far. Brows furrowed, Erika-san glowers at them as Rika-san pours her a fresh cup. A defector from the coffee faction! She declares. Oh damn. Oh damn. I didn't say nothing. Why y'all pulling me into this? This is y'all's business. Y'all have this argument on your own. Why do I have to be a part of this? I like both, but I can't exactly say that here. Drinking from my own teacup, I offer her a smile. This is a big deal, man. We literally cannot take sides in the great debate of coffee versus tea. Because the girl in the room who makes the tea will very likely smother us in our sleep if we answer incorrectly. I'm a tea person. I like living.
そうよね。これで3対1よ。民主主義の名のもとに被告八重垣エリカは断罪されます。
Like literally, dude, she's literally going to murder Erika tonight. It's so over. We all then laugh at her cry of "Et tu, Brute!" enjoying an after-lunch tea party together with my friends like this. I feel as though the version of me that arrived at the academy was a totally different person.
初めて食べたけれど案外美味しいわ。後を引く味ね。
It's quite Moorish. After saving her first few bites of salami, Takasaki-san turns to me.
ブルータスといえば最近ローマ市の映画を見たのだけれど、白羽さんおすすめの歴史ものの映画ってあるかしら。ローマ市ならそうね、グラディ
Yeah, those are good ones. I don't know that that's how you spell Ben-Hur. That's how you used to say Ben-Hur. I think you just want one R there. I cannot see that and not think herder. Oh.
意外ね。白羽さんはアクション寄りでなくて、もっと世界
Action movies are awesome.
のを選ぶと思っていたわ。
This girl's seen Die Hard. You just know it.
白羽は意外と暴力描写のある作品が好
She
き
is
だ
a
よ。
Clint Eastwood fan,
な
yeah.
んて言ったってクリント・イーストウッド好きだし。
I can't let that go.
イーストウッドはダーティーハリーのようなアクションだけじゃないわ。マディソン軍の橋のような切ない役も演じ、監督もしているし。白羽さんらしいチョイスね。
でも一番好きなのはダーティーファイターだって言っていただろ。
え？それってあのお猿さんが相棒の？
私の薫陶が生きてきたな。白羽はその猿が好きなんだってよ。
クライドよ。
Clyde.
あ？
相棒の名前よ。
He's an orangutan. Laughter fills the room again, although none of it is mine.
そういえば猿で思い出したのだけれど、オランウータン。
Orangutan.
ごめんなさい。猿夢って怪談知っている？
The story of the monkey dream? Is this going to be another... Are we about to go into mystery mode? Is this it? Something's going to happen and we're going to have to solve the mystery the monkey dream.
都市伝説ですよね。確か夢を見るたびにどんどん死に近づく。
One step? I don't know. I feel like, you know what? If I had a dream once and it took one step off of my life, I'd probably wouldn't sweat that too much.
知っているの？せっかく聞いたから教えようと思ったのに。
I apologize to the deflated Takasaki-san for stealing her thunder, but she brushes it off and takes a sip of tea. Rika-san looks relieved.
ちょいと前に夢見が悪くてその話をしたんだよ。それでまた怪談好きが再燃した。
Was it like the weird dream where you're like alone in a white room naked?
そうなの。ねえ、白羽さんは何か怖い話を持ってないかしら？
Oh, Rika's gonna love this!
私がそんなお話するわけないでしょ。ごめんなさい。慣れ慣れしかったかしら。そうじゃなくて。
She casts a beseeching gaze from me to Erika-san.
祖父の話は本格的すぎる
Would
し。
Grandpa's story be too intense? I hesitate, remembering how Rika-san hadn't been able to sleep after I shared that story with her.
しょうがないな。それじゃあ私は一つ披露してやろうか。
Yes, let Erika tell the story. Nobody's gonna come out the other side of this emotionally scarred. Erika-san chimes in, a feline smile curling across her features.
エリカさんが？
ああ、委員長にすがられたら断るわけにはいかないから。
Rika-san, who'd been looking to her for a different kind of help, doesn't argue, her expression defeated.
時期外れだが、冬の階段もおつなもんだ。一つ、次女から聞いた話を披露してやるとしよう。
All right, what you got?
それって剣道をやっているっていうお姉さん。
Ah, see? Again, we're coming back to the theme of asking people about themselves. Or like remembering details, because you have to show interest, to show you care. go, she tells me, picking up her cup and adding that this is something that happened while her eldest sister was away at summer camp. Oh no. Not one time at band camp stories. She nods. Erika-san must have shared the story with her already.
一番上の姉が夏休み合宿で出かけている間、私は姉の介助をしていた。
逆じゃなく
Maybe this was before.
お、言うようになったじゃないか。
Cheeky. Although Rika-san apologizes for her reflexive comment, Erika-san tells her she's not bothered and sips on her tea.
次女が夏休みに入る前、剣道の稽古中に左手の指を疲労骨折してしまったんだ。だから互いに足りないところを補ったってわけさ。
ご両親
どちらも仕事の虫でね。まあこの話には関係ない。次女が病院通いしたってところがミソでね。自宅からほど近い大学病院へ通院していたんだ。その大学病院はちょうど改装工事をしていて、病室の塔に足場を組んでいたそうだ。姉は入院していてろくに外も眺められないのかと同情したそうだよ。
入院中は外を眺めるのが楽しみだものね。
Oh god. Throwing me back to Narcissu now. I don't want to think about hospitals. I can't play visual novels. They got hospitals in them. You're gonna make me sit here and cry like a little bitch again.
私たち的にはそこに本が入るが、脱線しちまったな。通院しているとそこの大学病院に知り合いの顔を見つけた。近所に住むおばさんで、次女は朝通学するときに挨拶していたから見知っていたんだな。病院で行き合うとよく話をしていたそうだよ。
長女さんといい、エリカと違って愛想がいいのね。
Does not miss a chance.
ほっとけ。
Shut.
次女は年上には好かれるんだよ、昔から。姉は病院へ通う際に見るともなく工事している塔を眺めた。そこでおかしなことに気づいた。
幽霊を見たとか。
I feel like that'd be way too simple.
そうじゃない。ある部屋のベランダから
紐くらい工事をしているんだからあるんじゃないの？
普通工事現場の紐、ロープといえば黄色と黒のトラロープだろ。赤いロープなんて見たことがなかったから目についたって話していたよ。
そうね、言われてみればそうかも。
それに他の場所ではトラロープが普通に使われていたんだ。だけどその部屋のベランダにだけ赤い紐が。通院するたび見かけたそうだよ。
She lets out a breath, her gaze fixed on her feet as though searching back for her memories. The pause is pregnant.
週に2度治療と経過を見てもらいに行っていた。その度に、そして5度目だかにたまたま会った看護師長にその話をした。すると、いつも穏やかだった彼女の顔がさっと変わったそうだ。表情が消え
But
た。
there was no string!
診察を終えた帰り道、ベランダを見えると赤い紐はなくなっていた。きっと看護師長が工事現場の人に話を通したんだろうと思ったそうだよ。
She wets her lips, looking around at each of us in
後
turn.
日、診察を受けに大学病院へ向かった。と、何の気なしに向けた視線の先には、ベランダにまた赤い紐が垂れ下がっていた。
何かいたずらのように感じるわね。
姉もそう思ったそうだよ。看護師長が対処してもらったのに、また赤い紐
Now
が
the
下がって
nurse
い
is
た。
in on the gag. She saw it once and now she's doing it to freak her out.
いたずらをされているその部屋の住人に興味が湧いたそうなんだ。一度回収されてもまたされるくらいの人物だ。どんなやつだろうってね。
Somebody that really wanted to mess with somebody who saw something weird one day.
悪趣味ね。
Someone who needs better hobbies. I like that answer too. It's like, let's steer it away from anything that might be even remotely supernatural.
変わり者なのは八重垣家の合病でね。診察を終
Yeah,
え
I
て
believe
から
that.
のあると病棟へ向かった。工事しているってのにずいぶん静かだったそうだ。奇妙に静かな長い廊下を抜け、赤い紐がかかっていた病室へとたどり着いた。そして
部屋のドアをノックした。
いや、今更ながらどうしたものかって困ったのさ。好奇心から来ちまったが面識もない。ベランダの赤い紐ですが、なんて切り出すのも妙だ。さてどうしたものかと思案していると。
Ah! Erika-san reaches a hand out theatrically while at the same time opening the door behind her with the other hand. Rika-san glares daggers at her, then dips her head in apology.
個室の病室から初老の男性が出てきた。姉を見下ろしながら横柄な口調で追っ払われたそうだ。その態度から、そりゃいたずらもされるよなと独りごちたそうだよ。
ただのたちの悪いいたずらの話じゃない。
姉もそう思った。だからその後の通院でも管の病室のベランダに赤い紐があっても特に気にしなくなっていた。看護師長へ赤い紐の話をしたのはちょいとしたつなぎの話題だった。だが話を聞いた看護師長は姉の腕を取り、人気がない場所へと無理やり連れて行った。そして病室へ行ってはいないかと尋ねた。
And then she got fired because that's where they keep the cursed patients. It's gotta be something like that, right?
正直に話したの？
いや、姉は空とぼけて、ただ一旦は消えたのにまた紐が下がっているから気になっただけだと答えた。すると看護師長は長いため息を吐いて、誰にも話さないことを誓わせた上で、あの赤い紐はある種の
Okay,
まじないだ
the
と
red thread's a curse. We dangle it out the window because that's our curse ward, and we just want everybody to know that. It's just a special way of marking it.
まじない？
その土地特有のまじないだそうだよ。看護師長の家は曽祖母が拝み屋のようなことをやっていたから知っていたそうなんだ。赤い紐はその呪いに必要な一つ。
その言い方だと。
ああ、まじないを成就させるためには赤い紐と呪う対象の部屋へある種の植物を置く。そしてその2つを長く置けば置くほど効果が出るらしい。
そんな迷信よ。眉唾な話じゃない。
姉も面白い話だとは思ったが、委員長のように迷信だろうと考えた。そしてあの横柄な態度を思い出して特進したそうだ。
Erika-san lowers her voice.
看護師長はもう一度部屋に行ってないかを尋ねた。
もしかして部屋に行ってしまったら。
Did you really open the door? Did you really not open the door? Seem to remember a fairy tale or anecdote of some sort previously. Erika-san shakes her head.
看護師長はあんなものを間近で見るのは気分のいいものではないからと告げた。そして何度も何度も消しているのにと。
Something strikes me as odd about these words. Wiped it away?
確かに見たくはないわね。ただの紐でもそんなことを知ったら。ちょっと待って。消して。
Yeah, not that she threw it away. At my question, Erika-san grins slyly. Cottoning on to the meaning behind what I've said, Takasaki-san and Rika-san fix their gazes on the tale teller.
そう、看護師長は決してと言ったんだ。姉は白羽のように聞き返した。
He's getting into it now.
あなたが何度も見たという赤い紐、遠目からだと紐のように見えたのだろう。
Was in fact blood.
赤い紐なんてなかった。
ああ、まじないは部屋に植物とある方
Then letting your blood drip from the window, facing a particular direction.
姉はその話を聞き、背筋が凍ったそうだ。
Who would be creeped out by that? Although Rika-san tries to sound brave, her voice comes out in a frail whisper, but Erika-san tells her it wasn't what she was thinking before continuing on.
姉は通院するたびに赤い紐、血を見ていたんだが、看護師長も気づき、その度に消していたらしい。そう、姉が凍りついたのは何度も何度も自分の血を使いまくほどの深い恨みの方だった。消されても消されてもやめない執念の方が空恐ろしかったってさ。
She's freaking out. The end! Erika-san's final words fall heavily into the tense room. Quiet except for an occasional gust of wind that echoes eerily.
幽霊は出てこなかったけれど、これはこれで興味深い話ね。興味深いって、こんな怖い
This
話
girl's not sleeping tonight.
今日は
Rika-san flushes and turns her beseeching gaze on me. Mine is a story about a butterfly I once told to Komikado-senpai. Maybe it would have been a better choice.
さて、それじゃあ
As I'm feeling slightly regretful, Erika-san turns to me with an incongruously cheerful smile.
次の語り手のお話を聞く。
Let's hear the next. Let's not! She's just out of here. She didn't want any of this. Cool, crisp winter air and the gentle glow of sunset. This should be my favorite kind of setting.
なんだか不吉に見えてくるわ。
The familiar facade of the dormitory building seems portentous, like something from the opening of a horror movie.
冬の間だけ別荘に泊まりに来るカップル。
Murmuring, I introduced the most fitting scenario from among all the many horror movies I've watched. Our ghost story session, the fuse for which was offered by Takasaki-san and lit by Erika-san, took up more of my time than anticipated. At this time of year, dusk slips quickly into darkness. Staying in the dorms would be more comfortable, but hey, they haven't made that mistake since the first game, where they repeat a phrase like that.
イズニ君カバンを取り
I haven't seen the repeated text box thing happen either. I left my things there, thinking I'd be back to continue my research, and I don't want to leave them there overnight. With the ghost stories from earlier still running through my mind, I rubbed my arms to fend off the chill as I hurried toward the school building. But then something stops me in my tracks.
スキア共有。
Oh! Oh dear! Are we about to have an awkward conversation? I spot a figure I haven't seen at all during the winter vacation, and she in turn brings to mind another name.
スキア。
Suddenly, the idea of simply asking Sister Basquiat outright about this Shion Basquiat strikes me. You know, something I could have thought about maybe a week or so ago. After all, they share the same surname. Why not just ask her? What's the harm? What bad thing could possibly come from asking somebody about a name that they've never mentioned? And given the fact that there is a gravestone there and she probably knows about it, would probably be very curious as to, why do you know that name? This is gonna go real well, I can just tell. However, another part of my brain pipes up that would be absurd. Bringing up the topic would be one thing, but if she simply feigned innocence and said that she had no idea what I was talking about, that would be the end of the matter. If I were to broach the subject of Xian Basquiat, it would have to be after having created a situation in which she would have no choice but to acknowledge it. That's a tall order. Each argument has its pros and cons, and so in the distance, Sister Basquiat's figure vanishes from sight. Before I know what I'm doing, I find myself following her. Sister Basquiat passes through the gardens. We're gonna find her doing some weirdo nun stuff. But rather than heading for the chapel, as I had predicted, she heads toward the greenhouses. I follow her until she enters the greenhouses, but because of the distance I've kept, I lose sight of her. Doing my best to silence my footsteps, I search the inside of the greenhouse, dyed red with the light of the setting sun, but... What? Did she just disappear? The words remind me of the Academy's 7 mysteries, the phenomena that spirit away those who encounter them. A shiver runs down my spine as I recall the ghost stories we've been recounting. Just then, a noise makes me freeze in surprise. The sound of my own footsteps. I was half expecting either Sister Basquiat or one of the creatures from the 7 mysteries to appear from between the plants, but instead... Hey! It's the Angraecum! That's gonna be symbolic, I bet! Spotting the flower after which the Academy was named, I find myself transfixed by its petals. The white flower has a peculiar shape, like a star. It suddenly occurs to me that I've never actually encountered one before, despite it being the Academy's namesake. Surely it would be fitting to study and nurture such a plant in our gardening classes. Plus, remember all the way back at the start of the first game, she wished that she could have what the Angraecum flower symbolizes. Voicing my thoughts aloud stimulates another idea. Perhaps this Angraecum is being cared for by someone in the faculty, by Sister Basquiat. Perhaps this is what brought her to the greenhouse today. That would make sense, but such a noble meaning, and yet for some reason, it doesn't sit right with me. God's in his heaven, all's right with the world. I watched Evangelion too. I know nerve. Suddenly a phrase comes to mind. It's from a verse by Robert Browning, an impactful line. It's been repeated in many a movie and novel and anime. It's particularly famous for being the last line in Anne of Green Gables. Yes, that would absolutely be my cultural touchstone for God's in his heaven and all's right with the world. Yes, that's my cultural touchstone. I'm absolutely totally cultured enough to have recognized that as the final line from Anne of Green Gables. That is what I was going to say originally, and I did the dumb Evangelion bit, because haha, Polly's dumb and uncultured. But it originally comes from a verse drama, Pipa Passes, by English poet Robert Browning. The last 2 lines from the poem resonated so deeply with people that they ended up being referenced in all kinds of media. And the reason that phrase came to me now All's not right with the world. I finally finished reading through all of the faculty registers from the past, right up to the present day. I've gone through all of them, but...
好きや性を持つ者はダリア先生以外に
well, that doesn't help.
していない。
I was searching for a clue to the elusive Xion Basquiat, and the realization that there's no such name on record has me quite discouraged.
外れてしまった。
While the confirmation that there's no record of them is in itself while the confirmation that there is no record of them is in itself a result of sorts, I was thinking that perhaps Sister Basquiat acquired her position at the Academy via a personal connection. This thought stemmed from something she once told me, that she had been brought up in the Academy. Those words led me to believe that perhaps she had been a student at the Academy herself. However, knowing how pure she was, it occurred to me that perhaps she arrived at the Academy earlier than I'd thought. That perhaps she spent most of her formative years here.
先生をこの学院に招いたのが養父
Again, I don't know why we're I still don't follow this Xion Basquiat being a dad. Just again, because that epitaph just reads too much like a child. Probably female. That was my original thought process. However,
教職員名簿にはシオン・バスキアの名は載っていなかった。
standing up from my chair, I go to gaze out the window. Of course, I don't really see the scenery outside. My mind's eye is focused only on the almanacs I was entrusted with by Yatsushiro-senpai. Something doesn't feel right about the fact that the name wasn't there.
そもそもシオン・バスキアがダリア先生を学院に招いた養父だとしても学院に埋葬されるのは妙だわ。
An esteemed teacher may be honored with a statue of some sort, but would they really be buried on school grounds at the old chapel? And be given an epitaph that would make people think a little girl died? Could he have died without any living relatives and written his desire to be laid to rest here in his will?
だとしたら
If there was a faculty member to whom the Academy meant so much that they wished to be buried here, then surely their name would appear in the ledger, even if Xion Basquiat was a man in this all-woman school. That's another reason why it just doesn't make sense that we're thinking about Xion Basquiat as a dude. I feel like it would be natural for such a figure to linger not only in the physical records, but in people's memories. The questions just weren't adding up. Shaking my head, I finally focused on the snow-covered landscape outside. Its cool whiteness cleansed my eyes and my mind. All right, now it's time for somebody to knock on the door and be helpful.
春のように演じてみよう。
Let's pretend like it's spring. Murmuring to myself, I ran through some of my favorite novels, thinking about who would be the most suitable detective for the job. Just as I did with the incident back in spring, fancying myself a detective, I thought hard about what the detective from my favorite book would do. And the conclusion I came to was...
現場百遍って探偵よりも刑事みたいよね。
Columbo! Deciding to return to the origin of it all, I bring myself back to the old chapel. I haven't returned since the day when I found Xion Basquiat's name on the headstone.
旧聖堂。
I inspect the area just as I did the first time, but there are no new discoveries to be found around the building. I'm simply reaffirmed in my belief that it was just burned down. A closer inspection only reveals it to be slightly smaller than the Academy's current chapel, but with a similar brickwork. Since I don't have any special tools on hand, there's not much that I can do. Giving up on my survey of the ruined chapel, I head for the gravestone. It's hidden by a grove of red-berried elder trees, a variety that doesn't grow in the surrounding forests. No, not hidden, protected. His grave, as I've come to think of it. The cross-shaped headstone stands quietly beneath its mantle of snow, the same as the day I found it. Standing before his grave, I attempt to resolve my burning questions one at a time. First, why was Shion Basquiat interred at the academy?
仮説はいくらでも立てられる。でも確証はない。
I can't expect to come up with anything more definitive than I did in Iznik. The next question that rises to the forefront of my mind is, why was he buried here specifically?
シオン・バスキアを今は旧聖丼に関わりのあった神父様だと仮定しよう。彼が祈ったこの場に葬る。なら納得できる理由。
However, the logic-loving detective residing within my brain quickly cross-examines that train of thought.
葬ったのは学園のものだ。なら掃除をしたり、お墓参りに来やすいよう、学園の敷地内に埋葬するのが合理的ではないかしら。
Looking at the headstone before me beneath the cover of snow, I can see it's clean and moss-free, indicating that someone has been tending to it. Which means, lost in thought, my gaze falls to the pedestal on which the epitaph is carved. That's when I notice a pure white petal, almost indistinguishable against the pale snow. As though drawn forward by the sense of premonition, I stoop down to brush away the snow, revealing the flower placed upon the plinth.
これはアングレカ
Aha! Well, looky here. The Academy's namesake flower. The flower I saw in the greenhouse when I followed Sister Basquiat.
初めに思ったように、養父であるならば何もおかしくは
I'm gonna just let girl cook on this whole Dahlia's dad thing. She's not gonna listen to me. Even as I think this, my grandfather's words come back to me. People tend to place that which they don't want to deal with or think about far away, out of sight and out of mind. And when they're forced to let go of something important to them, they choose that which is far from their own heart and mind. He declared that there were no exceptions to these rules. What on earth had we been talking about that prompted him to say that? No, that was a distraction. I was trying to put off coming to a conclusion.
見たくないものから目を背けている。
The two signs that Yatsushiro Senpai gave me both seemed to be pointing towards one person. I've been looking anywhere and everywhere but at her. I cycle back to a thought that has occupied me time and time again. What if I simply asked her directly about Shion Basquiat? However,
シオン・バスキアのダリア先生に告げてはいけない。
yeah, like if you don't know this person's, like if this person's name has not come up until these strange and crazy circumstances that it did in autumn, then yeah, you probably not a good idea to go mentioning it all willy-nilly. Again, you're gonna need a reason to pull this out. It's instinct rather than logic that tells me this much. Still feeling somewhat unmoored, I stare intently at the name carved into the stone. All right. And we are gonna put a cap, just like that, on things right now. So we got to do a little bit of getting Suoh back in the right mindset, getting her cheered up a little bit. Everybody knows she's going through it. Everybody knows. They don't know the specifics, but they know that this girl's hiding something, and they're all trying desperately to tell her, hey, I want to be a part of that noise, and she's still not gonna let them. So hopefully the message gets through at some point. So I guess now all it's left to do is either, concoct a reason to get in touch with, concoct a reason to bring up the name Shion Basquiat, or just You know what? Like, sometimes the best approach is just is just blitzing through the front line and saying, "Hey, who's Xion Basquiat?" Don't ask how I know that. Anyway, that's gonna do it for now. So as always, thank you so much for dropping by. I hope you have a nice rest of your whatever, wherever it is that you may be, and we'll catch you and your pretty little face next time. Bye!